We have a lot of football today, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we actually get to see some exciting players, right? I mean, I feel like back in previous preseasons, we had, I don't want to say more stars playing, but more guys that we were excited about. But what I'm excited for is hopping into a fantasy football draft, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead. Let's get in the Puppy 3 tournament. Like I said, this is the best tournament for anybody new to Underdog Fantasy to be playing in, or anybody that is trying to practice for their main fantasy football league this next year. It's a $5 buy-in, $1 million prize pool, $200,000 for first place, $100,000 for second. We had a member of the flock win this tournament last year, but I'm sorry, y'all are not winning it this season because yours truly is, all right? The head of the flock is going to be winning this bad boy. But we are in your pick 7, so maybe Bijan Robinson's going to be in play for us, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I know we are a little early today. I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. But come on, I want to clear it up. Want to make sure that we can do some stuff later today. And hopefully there are some exciting football games for us to watch. But hell yes, thank you so much for everybody coming out. And Tommy out here with us at pick 3. We got Rami Ramsaram out here at 2. We got JRV out here at pick 5. Oliver at 10. Eli at 11 with us. Love to see it. And Nick telling us that he is going to win the puppy tournament again. Yeah, if y'all don't know, Nick won the puppy tournament last year, but I'm sorry, my man. You and all your $5 donations into this tournament prize pool, very much appreciative from yours truly, aka the winner of the $200,000 in the puppy tournament this year. But let's get this going. 49ers collection saying Trey Lance playing today, Mason. All right, when are the 49ers playing? When are the 49ers playing? God, I don't want to hype myself up too much. I let myself get a little too excited the last time just to sit there and cry the entire game. We got it at 7:30 Central today. All right. Nick says you can take second. Well, I'll be fine with the $100,000 for second place. I'll take that. Now let's move this around. Cooper Kupp off the board at 5. So let's see if we are going to get our guy Bijan Robinson in here at pick 7. Kelsey goes, hell yeah. So we are going to get our guy. We are going to be able to take Bijan Robinson at pick 7. Just in case y'all didn't know, Bijan Robinson and I are close childhood friends. I mean, we are cousins. We grew up together. Obviously, I'm joking, but no. I interviewed him at the draft. We saw him at the gym. I went to the University of Texas, Oklahoma. We are going to take our guy. I'm going to take guys that we are rooting for. Antler Eyes driving across the country. Thank you for stopping by and joining us, my man. Really, really do appreciate you. Diggs, Eckler, Lamb going off the board here. 8, 9, and 10. Joseph says, what happened to Trey Lance on the preseason game? I need some better Trey action. My fantasy life depends on it. Come on, Lance. Do something here. Here's what I want. I want Trey Lance to look good for once. Get traded to the Atlanta Falcons. Team up with Bijan Robinson so I can finally find a team to be a fan of. So I can finally say, this is my team. This is the team I'm rooting for. Because if Lance is sent over to Atlanta, tell you right now, I will be the #1 Atlanta Falcons fanboy. Devontae Adams goes, not great. I mean, we are going to go ahead. We are going to take Jalen Waddle. Just keep a balanced start through the first 2 rounds, right? I mean, take a running back there round 1, wide receiver round 2. That way we can have some flexibility later on in this draft. But just in case y'all don't know, ladies and gentlemen, these are Underdog Fantasy drafts. They're best ball, so no time commitment at all during the year. That's how I drafted 700 teams and how I won $150,000 last year on Underdog Fantasy. And of course, if you want to join a draft with us, I'm drafting every single night on this live stream. If you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And on top of this, ladies and gentlemen, I worked my butt off to make sure y'all had this, but everybody's site-wide should have the Anthony Richardson special pick'em live right now for the game tonight. So please make sure you are taking advantage of that ASAP, but also exclusively for people who signed up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, regardless if you signed up 2 years ago, last year, last month, or, I mean, a few days from now. I mean, you can sign up tomorrow, the next day, doesn't matter. If you sign up with promo code FLOCK, you are also going to get a special free Josh Allen pick'em for week 1 ladies and gentlemen. And I got y'all hooked up with 3 special pick'ems this next season, only with promo code FLOCK. So make sure you are taking advantage. But let's move this over and let's see what we're doing at 31. Andrews goes 29. This team goes Josh Allen despite not having a wide receiver yet. I'll take Metcalf. I mean, yes, I do have Amari Cooper ranked over DK Metcalf, but if you look at the ways that these ADPs line up, I mean, I'm going to be able to get Amari Cooper in the late 3rd, whereas DK Metcalf's never going to fall to us at that point. I already have way more Amari Cooper than I do DK Metcalf so far this offseason. So might as well mix it up a bit. Might as well take DK Metcalf here at pick 31, just in case I'm wrong, right? I'm wrong all the time. Michael saying, Gibbs at the 2-3 turn, WTF. I mean, I'm seeing more and more Jahmyr Gibbs go at the beginning of the 3rd round now. I mean, people are pumped. Look good in the preseason. Obviously, an elite level offensive line. And just inherently, Gibbs is going to rise when you have Breece Hall and when you have Ramondre Stevenson falling. And yet, Jacobs falling as well. So, I don't necessarily think it's a Jahmyr Gibbs thing, more so a running back landscape thing, but it is what it is. You definitely need to know that going forward in your drafts. And we just hit 100 likes on this live stream. Thank you so much for everybody going down there, dropping a like for us. Ramondre Stevenson off the board, 39. Keenan Allen goes as well. Funny that DJ Moore's ADP has been flying up based off 1 reception in the preseason. DJ Moore goes. We'll go ahead and we'll take Najee Harris. I do prefer Travis Etienne over Najee Harris, but you've also noticed that Etienne's been going a little bit earlier and Najee Harris has been going a little bit later in these drafts as of late. That team at 6 goes Breece Hall 43. So now they have at tight end Travis Kelce. At quarterback, they have Josh Allen. And running back, they're sitting with Derrick Henry, Breece Hall. So 0 wide receivers through the first 4 rounds. Yeah, they're going to be in a position where they have no other option but to slam wide receivers from here on out. Austin says, I'm big on Gibbs, but he has been zooming a little bit up. Yeah. I mean, I did this, I want to say maybe a month ago in our Dynasty Fantasy Football rankings. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw this on flockfantasy.com, but I was updating our Dynasty rankings and looking at the running back landscape. I was like, oh my gosh, does Jahmyr Gibbs have to be the running back 2 overall in Dynasty now? And I ended up moving Jahmyr Gibbs to our RB2 in Dynasty, only behind Bijan Robinson. I was like, it's very hard to rank him ahead of Breece Hall coming off a torn ACL, dealing with Dalvin. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is an elite level prospect. It's very hard to rank him behind Jonathan Taylor. Taylor, I mean, drafted in 2020, going into his 4th season. You obviously can't rank, I mean, CMC ahead of Gibbs. So, like, going through and breaking everything down, I ended up moving Jahmyr Gibbs to our running back 2 in our overall Dynasty rankings, but obviously that was like a month ago. But Dylan says, what's the next draft you're getting into the $500? I think we're most likely going to do a $500 underdog draft on Tuesday. The reason being is I just don't want to do it like when there are other preseason games going, because if I'm spending $500 on a draft, I want to make sure that as many people are watching that as possible. So yeah, I mean, to get as many people watching that as possible, we're going to have to do it most likely on Tuesday. Unless, is there a preseason game on Monday? I believe so, right? Kenneth Walker goes 53. Y'all know I take a lot of Kenneth Walker here. I guess we'll take Christian Kirk. Now, I'm not a big fan of Christian Kirk in general at the 4 or 5 turn. Here, when he's falling to the middle of the 5th round, it's going to be a little bit more appealing. But a big thing with Christian Kirk is if you look at the involvement that he had in this Jacksonville Jaguars offense, week 1 of the preseason, you had Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones as the wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. I mean, in 2 wide receiver sets. And then beyond that, Christian Kirk was regulated to just slot duties. I mean, it wasn't great. Now, OC's plan says, if Kupp is healthy in a full go week 1, should I take him over Tyreek? Personally, I'm going Tyreek over Kupp, but if you wanted to go Kupp over, I'm not going to fault you for it, right? Just more so a little less concerns with the overall offense that you have in Miami in comparison to the offense that you have with the Rams. But Herbert goes 57 to pair up with the Keenan Allen team. Then you have Trevor Lawrence going 61 to pair up with Travis Etienne. Lawrence definitely would have been in play for us on the way back around at pick 66, where we took Christian Kirk. I'm sorry, because we took Christian Kirk. Okay, Alexander Madison goes, Hollywood Brown's been falling down these boards, and Darren Waller has been moving up in a dramatic fashion, ladies and gentlemen. Like, if you want Darren Waller, you are going to have to take him at the 5-6 turn pretty much going forward. I'm not going to take him. I'm going to go Hollywood Brown. To be honest with you, I would way rather have, like, Kyle Pitts round 7 and 8. I'd rather have Dallas Goedert round 7 and 8 than Darren Waller here. I mean, if you're looking at, like, the teardrop from Hollywood Brown to Zay Flowers, Hollywood Brown to Quentin Johnston, that is a much bigger drop in my mind from Darren Waller to Kyle Pitts or Darren Waller to Dallas Goedert. Yeah, so I am not going to be drafting Darren Waller at this new price. Now, Waller goes pick 70 to pair up with the Hawkinson team. Now, what's interesting is that's a team that took Jalen Hurts. So they're essentially punting on their ability to take Dallas Goedert to pair up with Hurts, which I don't really like it for that reason. You didn't take A.J. Brown round 1. You didn't take Devonta Smith there at the 2-3 turn. So at least in my mind, you pretty much are in a position where you want to at least get one of those stacks. We could also see them go DeAndre Swift on the way back around at pick 75. That's definitely a possibility as well. Piona says, I saw some idiot tweet Kyle Pitts over Darren Waller today. Oh, I saw that idiot as well. I mean, I think I memorized his Twitter I think it was at Mason Dodd FFN. Something along those lines, but regardless, it was embarrassing, and that man should be publicly shamed. Now, Javonte Williams goes 71. Cam Akers off the board at 72. I actually had fun in a draft this morning. I just hopped in a regular ESPN redraft mock draft, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's see how these drafts go. It was so much freaking easier than Underdog, and after being in like 300, 400 Underdog drafts this offseason, I mean, it made that ESPN draft the funniest, easiest thing ever, where we were able to just dominate with the team. And there we had, I believe, Javonte Williams as our running back 2, running back 3. But I made a video breaking that down, and that video will be coming out, I believe, tomorrow morning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So now James Conner off the board, 77. This team goes James Cook. The only wide receivers being Deontay Johnson, Gabe Davis. But, I mean, they are going for the double stack there with Josh Allen, right? We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Dallas Goedert. I love Dallas Goedert at this price tag. I mean, I think Dallas Goedert outscores the other wide receivers in this range that he's going next to. I mean, if you're looking at Dallas Goedert in comparison to Quentin Johnston, if you're looking at him in comparison to Zay Flowers, I think Dallas Goedert straight up scores more points than those guys. Not even considering the fact that, yeah, Dallas Goedert is given tight end eligibility, whereas those other guys are playing wide receiver. So, I don't know. Matthew says, can you show the draft results? Yes, that draft breakdown is going to be tomorrow on the channel. So, just make sure if you are wanting to see that, you are subscribed and you check out tomorrow's video. Now, Quentin Johnston off the board, 83. Quentin Johnston's been falling a little bit. You have the report saying Joshua Palmer may actually be playing ahead of Quentin Johnston this next year. Okay, Kamara goes 84. Smooth this back around. So if we were to take Deshaun Watson, it's okay. I mean, we can look to go David Njoku on the way back around if Deshaun Watson makes it to us pick 90. Seamus says, Bigsby stock gonna be skyrocketing. Did Bigsby do anything? Whenever I popped in, it looked like nobody on the Jags was playing. I turned the game off immediately just because I was like, okay, literally nobody's playing. Let me pull it up. Did Bigsby play? Yeah, Tank Bigsby did play. Never mind. 13 carries, 70 rushing yards. Dearness Johnson had a couple touchdowns. But Carl says, I commend your ability to respond to troll comments. Some other streamers become pretty unhinged. I try my best to remind myself, my friend, that I am truly an idiot and that I get things wrong all the time. So 9 times out of 10, the person trolling me with the troll comments probably in the right and I'm probably in the wrong. So yeah, sometimes you'll tell that something gets under my skin a little bit, but it is what it is. Try my best to not let it. Running back, we have Bijan Robinson, Najee Harris, David Montgomery. I would honestly way rather have David Montgomery at pick 90 than Jahmyr Gibbs at 25. I mean, if I'm looking at David Montgomery, I think he has a very real shot to have the red zone role in Detroit this next year. By no means can you say that David Montgomery is guaranteed to turn into what Jamal Williams was last year, right? I mean, of course, that would be a long shot, and that's the dream scenario that most likely is not happening. But nonetheless, it possibly could. It's an elite offensive line. We need another running back. I mean, there's no way in hell I'm taking Sky Moore over the man. So, yeah, let's go David Montgomery. Cole says, Mason, my wife's boyfriend loves to watch your live streams. My man, that is awesome. Tell him I said thank you, but I would warn you, don't let your wife watch the live stream as well, because if she sees me drafting another fantasy team, I mean, you're probably going to have another boyfriend, if I'm going to be honest with you. But Khalil Herbert off the board, 95. Khalil Herbert has been a big-time riser. I mean, I actually drafted a lot of Khalil Herbert earlier this offseason. He had an ADP in underdog drafts previously as the running back 40. So, let's go. Now, Spartan says 12-team ESPN PPR draft, 9th pick, but traded away my 4th and 5th for the 2, 11, and 12th. Any strategy you would run. Okay, so thinking A.J. Brown, Hurts, Andrews, Mixon. Generally, I want to stay flexible there. If we're going to have those early picks, I would definitely like to at least get one running back early on. Unless this is a league where you have to start 3 wide receivers or maybe have like 2 to 3 flex spots. I would love to at least grab one running back there at the 1-2 turn. And then we can take wide receiver values there in the second. You're going to get some pretty strong values in the second. Now, Anthony Richardson off the board, pick 100. So obviously what we were hoping for is we were hoping that Tua was going to make it back to us so we could pair up Tua with Waddle, but very unrealistic to assume that's going to happen. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you are going to have Tua go into the Tyreek Hill team there. This team is 4 RBs, only 3 wide receivers, so you assume that they probably look wide receiver, right? No, they go David Njoku 101. Gibson has been sliding just a bit. Odell Beckham Jr. off the board. Not really considering the wide receivers in this range, if I'm to be honest with you. I think we probably just go ahead and take a running back. We'll take Antonio Gibson. I mean, I'm not sitting here jumping up and down with excitement for this. But, I mean, if we are going to break a tie, we still need to be looking at potential quarterback stacks that we can have later on. Gibson, obviously, the passing down running back in Washington. So if we wanted to pair up Gibson with, say, Sam Howell, and then also go Curtis Samuel later on, it's not going to be the worst idea in the world. But Euros coming out, thank you, says Jefferson, Waddle, JT, Gibbs, Walker, Madison, Goddard, and Fields. 10-team PPR format. What are you thinking? I really like it. Obviously, it comes down to what are we getting from Jonathan Taylor. Especially in a 10-team league, that's a bet that I like making, and that we should really just be trying to optimize for the highest ceiling possible and not necessarily concerning ourselves too much with the floor. So obviously, if Taylor gives you nothing this next season, you probably lose. But it's a 10-team league. You had a 10% chance of winning anyway. If Taylor plays, I mean, you're probably going to be the best team in the league. And that 10% chance is probably going to go up something to closer to 20, 30%, which is what we're looking for. So I really like it. Now, Jacob says, hit my Richardson pick with Bigsby. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, man. Hell yes. Love to see it. Love to see it. For a second, it took me, a little bit of time to realize what you were talking about, but congrats. And yeah, just in case you don't know what he's talking about, there's a site-wide special on Underdog Fantasy right now. So please make sure everybody go take advantage of this. They have Anthony Richardson for more than less than half a total yard for this game. And also, I got y'all an exclusive Josh Allen special as well for week 1. That's only going to be with promo code FLOCK. Find the link in the live chat description comment section. Promo code FLOCK's also going to get you 100% deposit match up to $100. You'll also get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And you can hop in these drafts with us every single night as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take Tyler Boyd here. I don't necessarily think that there's going to be too big of a teardrop between Rashad Penny and the running backs that we're going to be looking at on the way back around. Whereas after Tyler Boyd, I am not too excited about the wide receivers that we have there in round 11. But it is what it is. Steph says, I only downloaded this app because I started watching your videos and now I'm in a draft with you. Well, thank you so much for opting in a draft with me. Really, really do appreciate you taking the time, my friend. Now, let's move this down. Lazard goes 115. Zay Jones off the board 116. So, I mean, we have a very well-balanced team, right? I mean, we can kind of do whatever we want on the way back around. We're definitely going to be looking at quarterback if we can find that one that we like at a value. Geno Smith would have been really nice to have at 114 to pair up with DK Metcalf, but Geno Smith went at 108, so we weren't able to take advantage of that, sadly. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And ladies and gentlemen, we just said 200 likes in this live stream. Thank you so much. And of course, if y'all want another draft, go down there, drop a like on the live stream. If we hit 350 likes on this stream, we will be firing up another draft after this one, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Gorov coming out says, 10-team PPR league, we have Lawrence, Chubb, Henry, Taylor, Olave, Mike Williams, George Kittle. Don't care about your kicker defense outside of Hookem Lawrence. You know, I love my boy Justin Tucker. And then Walker, Burks, Kadarius Toney, Gabe Davis. I really like the team. The only thing I'd change is to try to optimize the bench. I'd probably be looking to move on from one of those wide receivers and pick up a running back that we think has access to high ceiling if their situation changes. I mean, just because if we ask ourselves, what is the realistic probability that, say, Kadarius Toney ever makes a difference on this team, right? I mean, right now we have Chris Olave, Mike Williams, Gabe Davis, Treylon Burks. I guess actually it's fine, right? Because we do have Henry, Taylor, Chubb. No, actually, this is a great team. I love that team. I wouldn't even change anything, my friend. Okay. Now, Myers off the board, 125. Let's move this back around. So, do we just take Tank Bigsby knowing that his ADP is probably going to rise based off the strong preseason performance? Let's do it. We also took Christian Kirk, so we have some correlation in this Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Obviously, not the biggest deal in the world, but I mean, maybe we break a tie that way. But yeah. And OG1 Kenobi says, Mason, what percentage of Super Chat money does YouTube let you keep? They take 30%, but that's like after all fees and everything. So I used to think like it was crazy that YouTube took 30% of donations, but after getting older a bit and like running a business with flockfantasy.com, I have realized that YouTube owes me nothing. They are the ones who set everything up and allow me to do what I do. So honestly, I don't even mind YouTube. When I was younger, I did care about YouTube taking 30%. Now it's like, okay, I understand. They got to do what they got to do. Now, Mark coming out says 12-team double flex PPR dynasty startup. No early RBs. Running back, we have Chase. We went Chase Burrow, Devonta Addison, Judy Dotson, Madison, Kamara, Gibson, Penny, Bigsby, Warren. What are your thoughts? I like the team in that we have an ability to compete this next season. But with that being said, we are also in a position where we have a young core where if things don't break our way, we can pivot for a long-term build. So what I would be looking to do here is I think we wait until we see where our team stands weeks 3, 4, 5. If we're sitting 1-4, then go, okay, burn it down, trade away all the running backs, keep the young wide receivers, and see what we can be getting in terms of long-term value with rookie picks. Whereas on the opposite end of the spectrum, if we are sitting there and say we start off 3-1, 4-1, and you're like, okay, man, I'm just lacking a running back too. I just need help at RB2. Then at that point, maybe you trade away your 2024 first to really compete this next season. So then you have a lot of flexibility and you can go either way, which is kind of what I like to see with those teams. But Patrick says, yo, Mason, in my underdog draft, I went Kupp, Lamb, Higgins, JT, and some interesting values as well. Hawkinson in the 6th, Kittle in the 8th. What the hell? Yeah, I don't know if I want to draft in the puppy draft anymore after you have that team. How the hell do you have that team? That is better than any team I've drafted on Underdog all year. And I don't even have a team that's close to that, to be honest. I don't have a team that's close. 49ers Collection says, got Bijan and Dotson for Aaron Jones, Scary Terry, and Aaron. Oh, my gosh. Bijan Robinson by a mile. I mean, it doesn't even matter that you got Dotson in return. Oh, that is unbelievable. Nick says he can't believe that team unless he sees the screenshot. Yeah. Let's see the screenshot and then we'll talk. Now. Okay, let's smooth this over. Lasagna lover saw Jefferson go at 3 today. I don't know if I've seen Jefferson go at 3. I mean, at least not when I was paying attention if I'm in the early first. Mostert goes 146. Osborne 147. Komet goes 148. So I think we can take a third tight end. The reason I went Higbee in the last round is I don't want to have to take a third tight end. I do want to put ourselves in the position where we only have to take 2 tight ends because we're going to want to draft 3 quarterbacks with this team. So let's see what this team does. They go Mingo. So we're going to take Rondale Moore. We need to be thinking about potential stacks that we can look at later on. We took a Hollywood Brown earlier as well. So if we go Hollywood Brown, Rondale Moore, then we can be looking at Kyler Murray potentially on the way back around. And that's generally, I mean, in my mind, the best case scenario when you wait this long on quarterback is to have someone that gives you an elite level ceiling in weeks 15, 16, 17 for the fantasy football playoff tournament, right? So we have a realistic shot at turning $5 into $200,000. Like, that's the main thing that we're looking for. So we'll move. And yeah, everybody wanted to see Dearness Johnson. I'm not taking Dearness Johnson. I'm sorry about it. I did draft Dearness Johnson in the underdog drafts before the NFL draft, when he was just the running back 2 in Jacksonville, and they didn't have Tank Bigsby there. I was like, okay, yeah, Dearness Johnson makes a lot of sense, but and now I don't know if I can take Dearness Johnson as a running back 3. I mean, I do really like Kyler Murray still. And Beast Mode coming out says 12-team PPR, double running back, wide receiver, and 1 flex. Took CMC. Oh my gosh, beautiful. CMC, Smith, Hurts, Hopkins, Brees Hall, Drake London, JSN, Javonte, Zay Flowers, Sky Moore, Cole Kmet. I really like it. I mean, this is why you want to go with that RB in round 1 if you can only start up to 3 wide receivers. That way it gives you the flexibility to take those wide receiver values in the middle rounds. And yeah, that's beautiful, my man. Having that Hurts stack in particular. I mean, getting Jalen Hurts and Christian McCaffrey on the same team in a league where you have such a shallow starting lineup is something that I love, and that you just set yourself up with the potential to have 2 of the top 3 highest scoring players in fantasy football this next year. Now we're going to go ahead. We are going to take Kyler Murray. Like we said, whenever we took Hollywood Brown, Rondale Moore, big reason being is so we can set ourselves up later on with a potential stack where we have access to an elite level ceiling weeks 15, 16, 17. Kyler Murray gives us just that. He gives us the double stack. And now, of course, we're still going to be taking 2 quarterbacks as well. That way we are able to cover the beginning of the season when Kyler Murray is going to miss. But yeah, I like it. Okay. Now, Chris Allin says, drafted Dak, CMC, Lamb, Aaron Jones, Ridley, Andrews, Miles Sanders, Eagles defense. What do you think about it in a 10-team full PPR format? So round 1, CMC, round 2, CeeDee Lamb, round 3, Andrews, round 4, Ridley, round 5, Sanders, or round 5, Andrews. I mean, obviously it's a 10-team league, so the bar is going to be a little bit higher, and we assume that all teams are going to be a little bit better, but it seems like a great team. I mean, I don't know how many teams are going to be able to pair up the combination of CMC and CeeDee Lamb together, my friend. Okay, now let's move this back around. 6 picks away. I don't really know if we want to be looking at Brock Purdy here. We don't have any 49ers, but Brock Purdy has no rushing upside. We may see Trey Lance take that QB1 job in 4 hours, hopefully. Obviously, I do not still believe that, even though in my dreams say we will be seeing it. My dreams, I will be seeing Trey Lance as the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Don't you get it twisted. Okay. Irv Smith Jr. off the board, 170. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 90 likes away from hitting 350 likes in this live stream. So if you have not done so already, please go down there, drop a like on this stream. If we hit 350, we will fire up another draft after this one. If not, we can relax. We'll end the live stream afterwards, and we can just watch the games today. But Brock Purdy coming out saying, got to take Brock Purdy. Seem maybe a little bit biased, my friend. Maybe a little bit. Mark says, I took the higher than on the Sam Darnold pick'em. Higher than 78 yards seems like an easy pick 'em. We will look at that in just 1 second. Let's go Tank Dell and potentially set ourselves up with the ability to go Stroud later on. Let me pull up what we have with those games today. Why did I not pair up the Anthony Richardson one with Trey Lance? What are the pick'em lines for Trey Lance right now? I guess we're going to see Josh Allen play today. That's exciting. Let's move this down. Who am I kidding? I only care about one guy here. They don't have one up for Lance. You're kidding me. You only have one up for Darnold? We sure Lance is playing today? They got everybody's favorite guy, Aiden O'Connell. Stetson Bennett as well. Will Greer. Drew Lock. Some exciting quarterback names we get to watch today. Obviously, no real impact of like from a fantasy football perspective, but from an entertainment value perspective. Okay, so some tight ends going off the board. Trey Lance does go 182, so we're not even possible to take him here. We're not live to take him. Let's swing this back around. But Sherry coming out of the donation, thank you, says 8-team double flex league. It took what the hell? I don't think it's a risky team at all. The only thing I'd say is in an 8-team format, let's make sure that we're not rostering too many wide receivers on the bench, and instead let's try to pick up, say, just an extra running back when we can, right? What I do love is in an 8-team league, just going through and taking Kelsey out the gate. Just say, F it. Let me make sure we get the number one player at an individual position. I mean, we need to be elite across the board if we were going to be competitive in an 8-team format. And I have no idea how the hell you got Kelsey and Jefferson on the same team. I'm assuming it's maybe a keeper league, but that is obnoxious. Okay. Brian says we get to watch the GOAT Deuce Vaughn. Let's see the underdog pick 'em on Deuce Vaughn. Do they have one out there for him? Sadly, they do not have one, unless I spelt Deuce incorrectly, which is always a possibility. But let's move this over. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all don't know, all those pick'ems are on Underdog Fantasy. That's the same place we're drafting every single day on this live stream. The same place where there's also the special pick'em site-wide right now for everybody. Anthony Richardson, more than less than half a total yard for tonight's game. Make sure you are taking advantage of that. And on top of this, your boy worked his butt off to get y'all a, not preseason line, but a week 1 line of Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard. So please make sure y'all are taking advantage of that. Get in a draft with us as well. Sign up, promo code FLOCK, link in the live chat, link in the description, link in the comment section. They'll match first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, we'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings. A free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. You can have some fun getting to these drafts with us. Now, did Stroud go where we are not able to take him? In that last draft, we took Sam Howell just in case things did not work out. But no, I guess CJ Stroud maybe has just fallen an incredible amount in ADP here, given the fact that he was a little disappointing in the preseason. Okay. Puka goes 197. Campbell off the board as well. All these guys are about the same for me, so I'm not going to sit here and stress about this too much. I'm just going to make sure we get a quarterback. We'll just go ahead and we'll just take CJ Stroud here, 199. I mean, obviously, week 1 of the preseason's not everything with Stroud. Firefox says 14-team double flex PPR format. We have Pollard, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amari, Justin Fields, Christian Watson, Wall. I'm assuming you meant Breece Hall, right? No, Waller, I'm sorry. P. Ryan Dotson, Elijah Mitchell, Jameson Williams, Roshan Johnson. So keep in mind, 14-team league, so the bar is going to be higher. I'm sorry, the bar is going to be lower. Amari goes round 3 in these drafts. Fields goes round 4 in these drafts. Christian Watson goes round 4 in these drafts. You're getting him in round 5 or round 6 of a 14-team league. This is a really good team. The only thing is, obviously, running back depth going to be very hard to come by. And the only thing I'd say about that is we don't need to be making any trades. Just make sure we're not rostering guys like Zay Jones at the bottom end of our roster. Just pick up another running back that maybe you can cut early on. but has access to a ceiling if he finds himself in a good spot. Maybe such as like Leonard Fournette. And we are 10 likes away from firing up another draft after this one, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like if you want another draft after this. But Sherry says, I traded my second and third for the first overall in an 8-team league. I actually like that move a lot in an 8-team format where depth's not going to matter. I think that's a strong move in an 8-team league. Now, at this point, when we go Stroud, we do want to be making sure that we have another guy to pair up with him. So we'll go ahead and we'll take Robert Woods here at 210. I mean, I'm not in love with this team, right? I think it's good for what we were given. Quarterback, we have Kyler, Sam Howell, CJ Stroud. Running back, we have Bijan Robinson, Najee Harris, David Montgomery, Antonio Gibson, Tank Bigsby. Wide receiver, we have Waddle, Metcalf, Christian Kirk, Hollywood Brown, Tyler Boyd, Rondell Moore, Tank Dell, Robert Woods. And tight end, we have Dallas Goedert and Tyler Higbee as well. So I do like the team. I like the team. And let's go ahead and let's get into another draft, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we are going to be getting into the Puppy 3 tournament. This is what I would recommend for anybody new on Underdog Fantasy or just anybody wanting to practice for their main fantasy football draft this year. This is the $5 buy-in, $1 million tournament on Underdog. First place prize is $200,000. Second place prize is $100,000. And like we've said, Nick won this, member of the flock last year, and yours truly will be winning it this season. Right here. So honestly, if I were you, I wouldn't even bother entering it because it is mine, especially as we're pulling pick 1 here. We are going to be able to get Justin Jefferson, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Barber Shack says, I'm pick 6 in a 10-team double flex league. We're thinking Kelsey. 10-team league, completely fine, Kelsey. I actually have a video coming out tomorrow from a regular redraft format draft that I did to go through and illustrate how maybe I'm going to be changing in a format like that. And I went Kelsey at pick 5 in there. So, completely fine. Okay, everybody's saying fire Tua INT on the first play. Oh, dear God. You got to be kidding me, right? Let's pull this up. Hopefully, it starts giving us some discounts on these Miami Dolphins. Yeah, Nick did not win $200,000 in the Puppy last tournament. He did win 75, but he won the tournament regardless. Just the bigger tournament now than it was last year. Now, we're going to go ahead and we are going to take Justin Jefferson off at 1. And I've heard someone in the live chat or maybe the comment section earlier today. I don't know exactly where it was, but they asked, okay, I have like 30-ish% Justin Jefferson, something crazy right now. They had a bunch of Justin Jefferson and they were asking like, when do I stop taking him? You don't want to, just because your exposure with a player like Jefferson, with a player like Chase, is just going to be natural, and it will all be evened out in the end based on where you are picking in these drafts. It's not like you're going to continue to get the 101 30% of the time, right? That will come down. I mean, there was a week stretch where I got either pick 1 or pick 2, like in every other draft. Like people were thinking that I hacked this system or something, that I had picked 1 like every single draft for a week. And then there was like a month where I didn't have pick 1 a single time. So it is spot where maybe when you're doing like 10 of these drafts over and over again, you're worried that, oh, okay, I'm never going to get, no, it's all going to even out in the end, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now, CMC off the board at pick 3. Brady in this draft with us at pick 2. Love to see it. Love to see it. And everybody, please let me know in the live chat, where are you picking? Where are you picking, ladies and gentlemen? And Ashton says, thoughts on Elijah Mitchell. I love Elijah Mitchell, both in regular redraft leagues for his elite handcuff appeal, as well as in these best ball drafts, just given the fact that he does have that elite handcuff appeal if CMC were to go down. But at the same time, he will have some random usable weeks, even with a healthy Christian McCaffrey. But it's Ronick, 8. Donald in here at 8. Okay, so who's really out here at 8? Justin in here with us at 4. Love to see it. John says, just found out I'll have the last pick in my 12-team Superflex League. Any tips? Feel like I won't get any good quarterbacks. don't reach on quarterbacks. Like, don't be taking Tua at the 1-2 turn, right? Understand that, I mean, your league mates are eventually going to stop taking QB. So I would really like to stay flexible and at least get one quarterback at the 1-2 turn. I mean, even if that's someone like Deshaun Watson, but stay flexible. Don't feel like you're at the end of a run and you have to take two guys. Stay balanced. I would say at least try to get one at the 1-2 turn, but we'll see. Now, Kinson coming out says, half point PBR 14-team league and IDP. I'm very sorry. I'm not going to be able to help you with IDP, my friend. Burrow, Adams, T, Bijan, James Cook, Pitts, Herbert, Addison, Flowers. I really like the team. Obviously, I mean, it's hard to project James Cook out too much as a running back 2, but in a 14-team league, I think you can be much more comfortable with it, right? Because, I mean, if you're going to be looking at, say, like a 10-team league, if James Cook's your running back 2, all of a sudden he has to be a top 20 running back. If it's a 14-team format, he just has to be a top 28 guy. So I like it. Now, Kinson says, thoughts on James Cook and Khalil Herbert? I mean, I like both running backs, but they've both been moving up draft boards a considerable amount where we're about to be to the point where we have to reevaluate if we continue to draft them as much as we have been. I'm trying to think of a way to put this. By no means are either running back just the straight up guaranteed option in their offense. Like, it's not like Khalil Herbert's guaranteed to be the starting running back for the Chicago Bears this next season. It's not like it's guaranteed James Cook's going to see 60% or more of the touches in Buffalo this next year either. But I think they are the most likely guys in their respective backfields. Now, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Mahomes, JT. Now, I know this is maybe a little bit of a just an annoying thing to say. I know people are going to roll their eyes and go, Mason, are you going to ignore the risk that you have with Jonathan Taylor? At the end of the day, this is a tournament. It's a $5 buy-in, $200,000 prize pool. I'm shooting for the highest ceiling possible. Justin Jefferson could be the wide receiver 1 overall this next year. Patrick Mahomes could be the quarterback 1 overall this next season. Jonathan Taylor could be the running back 1 overall this next year as well. So I understand inherently we are taking some risk taking Jonathan Taylor here. And of course, I'm not going to shy away from that. But I do want to be chasing that ceiling. I mean, if y'all looked at us reacting to that draft where I won $20,000 last year or the other draft that won $100,000 on Underdog last season, both drafts we took Christian McCaffrey early on. And we said at the time of the draft, yes, a lot of people viewed this as a super risky pick, but we kind of have to go ahead and make it because his ceiling to potentially win you the tournament. It's kind of the same thing with Jonathan Taylor to a lesser extent here. Now, Jacobs off the board at 30. Kobe Golf says, I need some good pick'ems. What y'all got? Okay, I got 2 pick'ems, my friend, for you that I am extremely confident in. And I mean, I am so damn confident about these. First one being Anthony Richardson site-wide special right now. More than less than half a total yard. This is for the game tonight. The second one that we have for you is going to be the Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard. That one's going to be for week 1. And that one's also only going to be if you use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy, my man. But if you haven't yet, it's never too late. Link in the live chat, link in the description, link in the comment section. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings. Get a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And you can get into a draft with us every single night, which we are doing on this live stream. And take advantage of those special pick'em lines that I got. I have 3 exclusive flock-only pick'em lines for y'all this season. Okay. But John coming out says, 18 PPR, 1 flex, taking Kelsey 1, or am I forced to take JT and Jacobs at the turn? Or do I take Mahomes or 1 running back, 1 wide receiver? Also, I'm winning next draft with you. Well, looking forward to that, my man. And I will say, I'm okay if it's an 8-team league where you only have 1 flex spot. Take Kelsey. And I know that's crazy to say. And of course, I don't think in the 99% of drafts you should take Travis Kelce over Justin Jefferson. 99% of drafts, follow our rankings, take Justin Jefferson. But going back to the video that we made yesterday with that in-depth draft strategy, adjusting to your league format, if it's an 8-team league with only 1 flex spot, just take Kelsey, and then I'm fine with you taking Mahomes at the turn as well. If you want to go Mahomes at the 2-3 turn and possibly have the QB1, tight end 1 overall, and then just find running back, wide receiver value through the rest, love it. Zyolin coming out says, longtime viewer, just signed up, excited to draft with you, Mason. No, thank you so much, my friend. I'll tell you for a damn fact, there is nothing that supports this channel more than you signing up for Underdog Fantasy. So thank you, my friend, and really, really looking forward to drafting with you. Now, Beast Mode says, is Breece viable as the running back 2 for the first couple of weeks? I wish I could say, hell yeah. Breece Hall's an elite level talent. He's in an elite level offense. In reality, we don't know what the volume's going to look like coming out the torn ACL immediately with Dalvin Cook there. I still have a lot of faith in Breece Hall for the long term when it matters most for the fantasy football playoffs. But for the first 2 weeks, I was thinking about this when I was making our rankings on flogfantasy.com for the rest of season for Breece Hall. I was like, okay, I know I rank him here in these rankings, but how am I supposed to rank this guy week 1? So I don't know, my friend. Now, Johnny says, my brother, hope all's well. Dynasty Superflex full PPR. Mahomes Hawkinson for young Devonta Smith, Musgrave, and 2 future first. Hell to the no. Hell no. If you're trading away Patrick Mahomes, my man, you need to make sure that the other person is overpaying. And I mean by a country mile. Here, that's a trade that you make, and then 2 years from now, you look back on it and you go, what the hell was I thinking? And trust me, I've made those deals with Patrick Mahomes before, where at the time I was like, oh yeah, 5 quarters equals more than $1. And then we've gone through and we've traded away Patrick Mahomes. And then a year later, a couple of those quarters have declined in value, and Patrick Mahomes is still worth that same dollar. And you're like, what the hell was I doing trying to get fancy and trading away Mahomes in a Superflex Dynasty League? Now, Alex says 18 PPR format. We have Hurts, Barkley, JT, Jefferson, Waddle, Goddard, and Walker in the flex. Hell yeah. We have Debo, Lockett, Godwin on the bench. Who do we start in the flex, and how's the team? I really do like the team. I think plan A is going to be start Kenneth Walker in the flex, assuming that if he's good to go week 1. The reason being is I don't expect a big role for Zach Charbonnet early on in the season, right? I mean, with Zach Charbonnet, maybe this is a running back that expands his role as the season progresses. But at least in the short term, I don't know. I don't think Zach Charbonnet is seeing 40% of the snaps in Seattle week 1, if that makes sense. Ryland says, can you not play Underdog in Canada? So Underdog's available in all of these states here. So available in 90% of states in the US, and then also available in Canada, but not in Ontario, my friend. I believe, and of course I'm talking out of my ass, I probably shouldn't even say this, but I believe DK and FanDuel lobbied enough where they are y'all's only options in Ontario, if that's where you are. Okay. JSN goes 57. Alexander Madison off 58. Everybody's saying how bad Miami looks. Well, hopefully this gives us some discounts on Tyreek Hill, on Jalen Waddle, on Tua. If we begin to get discounts on the Miami Dolphins for that reason, I'll be happy about that, my friend. Kittle goes 60. And Professor X says, do we really think the Seahawks are moving to Zach Charbonnet? They spent a second rounder on Walker, and he emerged last season as a stud. I don't think that they're ever going to move fully to Zach Charbonnet, but I do think that they spent a second round selection on Zach Charbonnet this year to have him involved in some capacity in this offense. I don't think they took Zach Charbonnet in round 2 solely for him just to be a backup running back. And I'm saying this as someone who's drafted a lot of Kenneth Walker. I think Kenneth Walker in the middle of round 5 is a great price tag. And Kenneth Walker was my second most drafted running back in fantasy drafts last year, my friend. So, I mean, Kenneth Walker won us a lot of money last season. This is someone I'm rooting for, but we can realistically say that Kenneth Walker wasn't a running back that had a massive receiving down role in college. Zach Charbonnet was a pretty good pass catcher at UCLA. So I do think that Zach Charbonnet expands his role as the season goes forward. But Party Moose coming out says, 14-team at PPR league. At 5, we have Eckler, Devonta Smith, Josh Allen, Drake London, David Montgomery, Brandon Cooks, Dallas Goedert, Hollywood, Zach Charbonnet, Dobbs, Doubts bench. Don't roast me hard. Love the content. No, thank you, my friend. I mean, Here, Eckler round 1, Smith round 2. Smith round 2, it's kind of whatever. I mean, I probably would have preferred to go with another running back considering it's a 14-team format. Or, honestly, I don't know. I probably would have preferred going elsewhere. Actually, no, it's a 14-team league. So there were additional, 2 more picks. So this is more like the very end of the second round. Oh, okay, so it's fine in that instance. Yeah, I forgot if you're in that 14-team format, and we just have to essentially lower the bar on what we're expecting with these teams, right? It's the main thing that we're having to do. Now, let's move this over. Gabe Davis goes 69. So I really like the flexibility that we have with our team here after taking London, DeAndre Hopkins at pick 48 as well as 49. Definitely thinking about one player in particular here if he makes it to us. Sanders goes. Sanders was going to be one of our selections, but I actually want to be taking George Pickens and pairing him up with Kyle Pitts. I actually like pairing up Kyle Pitts and Drake London on the same roster, essentially making one bet, right? Saying, okay, well, what if people are wrong about the Atlanta Falcons? What if this is a team that's actually much better this next year than people assume? And they actually do throw the football unlike last season. So, yeah, we'll pair up both these players together and hopefully it works out. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. But Isaac says, hey, Mason, just subscribed and deposited on Underdog with code FLOG. Thank you so much, my man. I really, really do appreciate it. And Brian says, Dynasty 12-team, 1 quarterback, start 9. Happy BR rebuilding. Trying to shed running back production. Traded Bijan, Devon Achane in a third for Devonta Smith, London, and a future first and second. I don't like it. Especially in a 1 quarterback format where that first round pick is going to be worth less, my friend. Similar to what we were talking about with trading away Patrick Mahomes in a Superflex league, if you're trading away Bijan Robinson in a 1 quarterback format, you need to be 100% certain that the player you are getting in return or the package you are getting in return is very much an overpay. Henry says Cook needed to go to Miami. I mean, I know I've been drafting Dalvin Cook a lot over the past month. I was hoping he was going to go to Miami, but Vinny says so much for Mostert at 150 ADP. Can we just get Kareem Hunt? Can we get Leonard Fournette over to Miami, please? Please. Let me see how much of these Miami Dolphins running backs that I have, because I mean, this was a team that I've been operating under the assumption that they are bringing in another RB. And clearly, if they don't, all their ADPs are too low. I have 5% Raheem Mostert, so I'm underweight on Mostert. I have 6% Jeff Wilson. And 7% Devon Achane. So I am underweight Miami's backs across the board. It's not like we have 0%. It's not like we've completely faded them. But would really like to see like Leonard Fournette over there. Everybody coming out flexing on us that they have a lot, but we'll see. We'll see. Now, Quentin Johnston makes it all the way down to 84. This is the latest I've seen Quentin Johnston go in quite some time. When's the last time I saw Quentin Johnston go this low? Deshaun Watson also off 85. Now, when we take Kyle Pitts, Drake London on the same team with Patrick Mahomes, I'm honestly kind of fine just making Desmond Ridder our second quarterback and only drafting 2 QBs. Going like Desmond Ridder round 17. Vadim a little bit overweight on Devon Achane and very much underweight on the other 2 guys. OG1 Kenobi says Mostert's like 33 years old as well. Yeah, I mean, the craziest thing ever is Mostert's like 32. He's had 1 game with more than 20 carries in his NFL career. 1 game. Austin says, who do you like better, Sky Moore or Kadarius Toney? I have the same stance that I've had all offseason. Give me whichever Chiefs wide receiver between Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Rashee Rice is the cheapest. We are fading the hell out of Kadarius Toney earlier this offseason. We was going round 6. And honestly, now that Kadarius Toney is going after pick 100 and Sky Moore goes here pick 89, now I'm fading Sky Moore. I think that this is a wide open wide receiver room, and I have no idea. Isaac coming out with a donation. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Okay, let's move this back around. Running back in play for us, our only RB is going to be Jonathan Taylor up until this point. So Dalvin Cook is fine if we want to look at him at pick 96. Tua goes 93. Tua was not someone that we were going to draft. That team goes Rashad Bateman 94. So never mind. We aren't going to get Dalvin. Do we take Ingram and only draft 2 tight ends? No, if we have Mahomes, I'm fine drafting 3 tight ends because we're only going to draft 2 quarterbacks. We're going to go Kadarius Toney, and honestly, there's a small part of me that wants to pair up Treylon Burks with DeAndre Hopkins. The thing is just Treylon Burks is not really going in this range at all anymore. So instead, we'll stay a little bit more flexible. We'll go with Khalil Herbert here as our running back 2. That way we can just continue to take values later on in this draft. Now, Michael says, I have Tua, JT, Aaron Jones, Kupp, Garrett Wilson, George Kittle, Devonta Smith. I'm assuming this is a dynasty league. There's no way in hell you got this in a redraft league. Bench is Dobbins, James Cook, Pittman, London. 12 teams start 9 dynasty format. Okay, perfect. Have a 3rd, 4th picks in this year's rookie drafts. Should we trade a quarterback or 101 for a quarterback? So start. I'm assuming this is a super flex league, right? Under the assumption this is actually, let me know in the live chat right now. Is that a super flex format, my friend? Okay. Lasagna Lover wanted us to go Khalil Herbert as well. Now, Jay Swaggy says, Kittle fell to 81 for me last night. Let's move. After we take Khalil Herbert, you do have a little bit of a run. Treylon Burks does make it a 103. Very interested to see where Burks' ADP ends up. Because, I was taking Burks a lot there at the 9-10 turn over the past few days. Figure there's a chance he was going to continue to fall. But Michael, please just let me know. Is it super flex for one quarterback? Please don't feel like you have to donate to let me know. And John says, hey, Mason, would you trade Higgins and Madison for Godwin, Condre Miller, and a future first in Dynasty? I would rather have Godwin in the future first over Higgins. Miller versus Madison is a little bit more dependent on your build. I probably would rather have Madison. I think it's a fair deal. I think you're fine to make it if it's a super flex format where I'm a little bit more excited about that pick than probably one quarterback. Michael says, no, it's a one quarterback league. Thinking of getting a better quarterback or trade for the 101. If you could trade the 103, 104 for the 101 in a one quarterback rookie draft, I would definitely do that. I'd be the equivalent of trading Jackson Smith and Jigba as well as Quentin Johnson for Bijan Robinson. And going back to your team previously, this is a loaded team, right? We don't really need much depth, and we have Dobbins, James Cook, Michael Pittman, Drake London on the bench. So I really do actually like the idea of maybe making that 103 and 104 for the 101 deal happen. Maybe instead, if you wanted to be a little more creative with it, we could try to trade like the 103 Michael Pittman for the 101 or the 103 Drake London for the 101, regardless of whatever that may be. 103 Aaron Jones. If we can get the 101, I would love that. But if I had to choose, I would definitely rather trade pick 4, right? I'd rather trade Quentin Johnson away than I would Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then if you wanted to go get an elite level QB, I'd be fine with that as well, because it does look like the starting lineup's going to be a little bit shallow in this format. You could also try to get like a late round 1 selection and pull the trigger on like Anthony Richardson in your rookie draft if you wanted it. But Nolly Paul says Collins is looking like the guy. CJ Stroud looks okay. CJ Stroud is cooking. All right. So let me pull this up. What's going on here? So we had a bunch of people previously saying that CJ Stroud looked like trash. I think that maybe we're a little bit overreacting on a drive-to-drive basis in the preseason, ladies and gentlemen. But the issue with CJ Stroud, and I've talked about this a lot, is you go from Ohio State, or essentially your offensive line is better than any defensive line that you're going to go up against. You have Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, all on your roster at one point as your weapons, to then you go to the Houston Texans, where you really have no help, top to bottom. And that's both with the offensive line as well as the wide receiver core. So it couldn't be a more drastic change going from like Ohio State to the Houston Texans. With that being said, it kind of is what it is, right? Now we're going to take P. Ryan. Yeah, we were making fun of people for taking Samaje P. Ryan earlier this offseason, but that's when they were taking Samaje P. Ryan over Alvin Kamara. This is where P. Ryan should have gone all along, and I'm fine drafting him at this price tag. And then I actually think we're probably going to... do we want to take Jamal? No. Miller's back at practice. What do we want to do? We'll take Jamal. Let's take Jamal. I don't know. I mean, with Jamal, you know what? You at least get 3 weeks. We'll see. I mean, I don't have a ton of Jamal Williams. But the thing is, at least early on, Miller's going to have like pretty much no role. Well, at the same time, Kamara will be suspended. So I definitely think Jamal is going to be a little bit more appealing if you're playing in like a league where you're submitting your starting lineup on a week-to-week perspective. Like say you are going with this 0 RB team and you have an elite quarterback, an elite tight end, you're super strong at wide receiver, but running back's questionable. Jamal Williams would be the perfect selection for you to take at the end of your draft, for you to go ahead and have someone you can start at the beginning of the season, while at the same time not sacrificing the flexibility of making moves after the first 3 weeks and hopefully finding someone off the waiver wire for the long term, right? So I think Jamal's definitely intriguing in a format like that. But Rodgers goes 127, Goff goes 128. Professor says, I'm still shocked that Zeke is going 150 plus. And everybody, please let me know in the live chat, who would you rather have? Would you rather have Jamal Williams or Ezekiel Elliott? Because, I mean, as you say that, I'm sitting here going, okay, well, actually, no, I think I would rather have Jamal, right? I think Ramondre Stevenson's better than Kamara at this point. Ramondre Stevenson at no point is going to have to deal with the suspension where Kamara is. So, yeah. No, I'm going to stick with Jamal. I'm going to stick. Let's see. Jamal, Zeke. Jamal, Zeke. Zeke, Jamal, Zeke. Jamal, Zeke. Yeah. I mean, it does look like some people are saying Ezekiel Elliott here, but if we walk through this, I think you probably do have to go with Jamal Williams. Okay. So let's move this over. I'd say if you're going to get like Zeke, pick 150, 151, it's probably better than Jamal Williams, pick 121, right? Okay. Now, Warren goes 129. Damian Harris off the board, 131. Don't exactly know what direction we want to be going in here. Maybe Jamal's not... You know what? As we think through this, maybe Jamal Williams is not the player that we want with this kind of build in particular. Maybe you would prefer Jamal Williams on a team that is going to be lacking at running back early on in the season, but will have strong running backs later on, right? So instead of pairing up Jamal Williams with, say, Samaje P. Ryan, maybe you want to pair up Jamal Williams with instead like Javonte Williams, if Javonte Williams is going to be injured at the beginning of the season, right? Whereas Samaje P. Ryan's probably going to have that role because Jamal's injured at the beginning of the year. I'm sorry, Javonte. So it is what it is. Let's move this over. Edward coming out says, just did a trade. We got Amari and Dobbins for ETN. Now I have AJ Brown, Olave, Allen, Amari, JSN, Michael Pittman Jr., running backs, Barkley, JK, Pacheco, Gibson. What are your thoughts? I like the trade on the surface. What I would be worried about is if this is a shallow league, right? If this is a league where, say, you only start one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex, then at that point, all of a sudden we have so much depth that it's going to be almost impossible to figure out how we should be submitting our starting lineup. Whereas like Michael Pittman Jr. is our wide receiver 6, where Antonio Gibson's our running back 4. So if it's that style format, I honestly would have preferred just keeping Travis Etienne, keeping the best player. Whereas if it instead is going to be a deeper league where maybe we are keeping, we are playing 2-3 flexes. We have to start 3 wide receivers. Then maybe in a format like that, we're going to opt to instead go ahead and take the package and take the depth, right? Now, Tyler Higbee off the board, 141. Now, we have the flexibility. We can kind of do whatever we want here, 144, 145. Marvin Mims goes 142. Van Jefferson off. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is going to be a no-brainer selection for us at this point. Zeke went already, right? Yeah, Zeke's already gone. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Marquez Valdez-Scantling, get the double stack in there with the Kansas City Chiefs, MVS, Kadarius Toney, and Patrick Mahomes. And then I still probably want to, I don't know. We can't really take a quarterback here. I do want to be taking 3 tight ends when we wait this long for our second tight end. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to go tight end in this range. So might as well take Tyler Algier, who should probably have a role, right, this next season. Of course, it's not going to be large. Hook 'em horns, Bijan Robinson. But he'll have a role this next season. And then if Bijan Robinson were to go down, we've seen Tyler Algier be a running back 1 in fantasy before. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's take Algier there, 145. And ladies and gentlemen, we just hit 500 likes on this live stream. Thank you so much for everybody going down there, dropping a like. And if y'all want another draft after this one, go down there, drop a like. If we hit 600 likes, we will be firing up a 3rd draft today. And if y'all want to get in that next draft, whether that's today, tomorrow, the next day, the day after, we're doing this every single night on the live stream. These are Underdog best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during this season. So I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 last year. And if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you are going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And also, you're going to be able to take advantage of the free pick'em specials that they have right now. Josh Allen, week 1 against the Jets, more than less than half a passing yard. It's going to be exclusive to only Flock members. And then also Anthony Richardson, more than less than half a total yard. That's going to be for the game later today. And that's a site-wide special for everybody. So please, please, please make sure y'all are taking advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. Work my butt off to get y'all that. But let's move this over. Now we have a bunch of tight ends going here. 150, 151, 152, 154. Generally, it's where you're going to see tight ends go, right? I mean, just running backs, wide receivers overall are pretty gross in this range. So I'm not going to fault anybody for wanting to go with the tight end here. It's just more so for our specific build what makes the most sense. Mr. DD says, is Marvin Mims good? Marvin Mims actually checks a lot of the boxes that you look for from a wide receiver prospect. Marvin Mims broke out as a true freshman, 18 years old at OU. Marvin Mims dominated as a sophomore. Marvin Mims declared as a junior. He was athletic enough. And he was drafted round 2 of the NFL draft. So Marvin Mims checks almost every box you want to see from a prospect perspective. Now, the primary issue with Marvin Mims is going to be the fact that he never really got better at OU. Like, he was really good as a true freshman. He was pretty good as a true sophomore. His true junior season was kind of whatever. So, I mean, I like him, but Bam Kib says the first 3 picks in a puppy draft, Hill, Barkley, JT. Ooh. Like it, my man. Very rarely you're going to get Barkley making it that far in the second round now that he's actually signed that contract. Now, let's move this back around. What do we want to be doing here? Okay. Dalaby goes Condre Miller here, 164. Underdog is half PPR, my friend. Underdog's half PPR. Zamir White off 165. This is probably the earliest I've seen Zamir White go. Obviously, if Jay Gibbs doesn't play, it doesn't matter how early you take him. He's going to be a phenomenal value. Okay, see Frank's message. Frank, I think I'm going to follow you with that suggestion, my friend. I think we are going to go ahead and take Kenny Pickett for the George Pickens stack. And I think we're going to follow that up with Irv Smith Jr. as our second tight end. And we'll most likely still be looking to draft a third tight end as well. I know we talked about the possibility of taking Desmond Ridder since we drafted both the combination of Drake London as well as Kyle Pitts. I still very much like having that combo of guys and making that one consolidated bet. But if you do look at the range of outcomes, I'm more confident in Kenny Pickett's ceiling this next year than I would be someone like Desmond Ridder. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and take Pickett 168, and we'll figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. So now quarterback, we have Patrick Mahomes double stacked with both Kadarius Toney as well as Marquez Valdez-Scantling. We also have Kenny Pickett stacked up with George Pickens. Then running back, we're sitting with Jonathan Taylor, Khalil Herbert, Samaje Perine, Jamal Williams, Tyler Algier. Wide receiver, we have Jefferson, London, DeAndre Hopkins, George Pickens, Kadarius Toney, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Tight end, we have Kyle Pitts and Irv Smith Jr. So we are going to go ahead. We are going to take another tight end. Like I said, most likely going to take, obviously minimum one more wide receiver. It's going to come down to that last spot. Are we wanting to go with two more wide receivers? Or are we wanting to say Jefferson's going to hold us down the fort and we're going to be fine and instead only go one? It's a thing that I don't know the correct answer to, if I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know exactly what we should do. Okay, Ferguson off the board. Samwise says it's only 4 picks before ADP on Zamir White. I did not. Zamir White goes that early at this point? Oh, dear God. Dear God. Moss coming out. Happy to see you, my man. Happy to see you. Okay. Now we have some more tight ends going. Obviously, Ferguson, looks pretty good now that we have clarity that he will be the guy in Dallas. Tank Dell 178. Famous Jay teasing us says, "Hey Flock, I bet Jacobs signs next week." At what's the latest point Jacobs can sign and not be financially penalized for it? Okay, Tajah Spears off the board 180. Jerome Ford goes as well. Okay, let's move this back around. Lasagna Lover says, is he not already penalized for missing training camp? I don't believe Josh Jacobs is seeing any penalty for missing training camp. No, because he's not signed. I could be wrong. Let me pull up Josh Jacobs' fines and see if anything comes up. I 100% could be wrong on this front. I would assume Jacobs, yeah. Ashton says, I believe he can't be fined because he's on the tag. He hasn't signed anything. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm just going to search Josh Jacobs fine. Okay. Probably should have looked up find instead of fine. Yeah, no fines. Okay, let me read what this person says. Yeah, so it was people arguing saying if he would have held out if he was given the 5th-year option rather than the franchise tag. So apparently if they picked up his 5th-year option last year, he would be getting fined right now for missing training camp. But because they just tried to franchise tag him, he's good to go. He's in the clear. Now we're going to take Hunter Henry. Henry's definitely more appealing considering the fact that you have the Mike Gesicki injury. And then on top of this, we want to be going at least one wide receiver, right? But all these wide receivers are so damn gross. Oh my gosh. I would honestly rather take a 6th running back than taking too many more wide receivers. So it is what it is. Now, Professor says, Henry, Etienne, Javonte, Elijah. Do you go with the 5th RB? 100% I go with the 5th RB. I mean, I understand a lot of people really like the hyper-fragile builds on Underdog. It seems very unique. It seems like you have access to a very high ceiling. What a lot of people don't understand on Underdog Fantasy, it's half PPR, so a lot of times the winning lineup's actually going to have a running back in the flex. You just have to ask yourself the opportunity cost, right? How much more valuable is Darius Slayton than Chuba Hubbard just because he's a wide receiver? In reality, not much. So if you can pick up Chuba Hubbard there instead of Darius Slayton as your 5th RB, the opportunity cost really isn't existent. Like, how much is the 9th, 10th wide receiver really worth? Rob says, 12-team PPR, I have the 12th pick. What are your thoughts on picking Davante Adams as one of our first 2? I like it in a full PPR format. I mean, obviously, we have to monitor the calf injury. I mean, at the same time, we can confidently say Jimmy Garoppolo's probably going to be the worst quarterback he's played with in his entire NFL career. But with that being said, I mean, he's pretty good with, actually, Jimmy G will be better than Jarrett Stidham, right? And Davante Adams has averaged 10.5 targets every single season over the past 3 per game, that is. So I'm completely fine still pulling the trigger on Adams. Captain Crutch says, what do you think of Team 12? Not to sound biased, but they might be winning the whole thing if I do say so myself. Let's go ahead and let's check out Team 12 for Captain Clutch. Starts off Chubb, Barkley. Definitely going to be a unique start out the gate. Then goes Debo, Judy, Kittle. I tend to take a lot of George Kittle whenever I took Debo Samuel as well. Lockett, Quentin Johnson. Yeah, I mean, Quentin Johnson, pretty good value there. I generally never see Johnson go at that price. Watson, Richardson. We have access to the elite level quarterback play. The only thing I'd say, my friend, is once you go Watson, Anthony Richardson, I'm generally not going to be taking a 3rd quarterback. And if I do, I'm going to be waiting until round 17, round 18 to take that 3rd guy. I think that you're going to do really good in this 12-team league in comparison to the other 11 other teams here. But I'd say in the overall tournament, it's going to be a little bit harder with that much invested just in the quarterback position. So yeah, 132 instead. I probably would have pivoted and gone elsewhere and then gone quarterback around 17, 18 if you really wanted a 3rd guy. But outside of that, I do really like the team, my man. Now, Agitate coming out and says, rate the 12-team app PPR format where we have Mahomes, Keenan, CMC, Javonte, Njoku, Christian Watson, Dotson, Elijah Mitchell, Zay Flowers, Dalton Schultz, Rashee Rice. I really like it. I'm trying to come up with a thing. The only thing I'd say is we need running back depth, especially with Javonte Williams going down. I mean, while wide receivers seem like, oh yeah, it's the best pick available there in that round. I mean, I need to be going with, Rashee Rice, right? He's going to be the wide receiver 1 for the Chiefs. In reality, at the end of the day, is he ever going to move the needle for you in your lineup when you have Olave, Keenan Allen, Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson, Zay Flowers? You know, I would rather go ahead and I'd rather pick up an extra running back off the waiver wire. And I know we just say that over and over again, but it's something that I want to hammer in these traditional redraft formats. You really want to make sure that you're trying to optimize the bottom end of your roster and trying to pick up guys that have access to an elite level ceiling. Obviously with Underdog, picking up the extra wide receiver makes sense, but in your regular redraft league, I don't know. But Michael Mayer off the board, 206. The team goes 4 tight ends here. I know some people have been excited about the 4 tight end build. Personally, I have not. But ladies and gentlemen, if y'all want another draft, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. If we hit 600 likes on this stream, we'll fire up another draft. And of course, if not, no harm, no foul. I'll be streaming every single night these drafts. So if you want to get in one with us, you can find that link in the live chat in the description in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK is going to get you a 100% deposit match up to $200. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And make sure you are taking advantage ASAP of this special they have with Anthony Richardson for tonight's game, more than less than half a total yard. And at the same time, the exclusive special I'm getting for everybody who signs up with promo code FLOCK, the Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard for week 1 against the Jets. And I'm going to get y'all 3 exclusive FLOCK special pick'ems this year on Underdog. So please take advantage because I worked my butt off to get it for y'all. But it looks like we hit 600 likes on the stream, so we'd be fired up another draft, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely going to take a wide receiver here. I think we're going to mix it up. Someone that's not drafted very often. We're going to go Josh Downs. And let's go ahead and let's get into another Puppy 3 draft. Like I said, this is the perfect draft for anybody new to Underdog Fantasy. $5 buy-in, $1 million prize pool, $200,000 for first, $100,000 for second. A member of the flock won this tournament last year, which hopefully we can repeat. But let's go ahead and let's get in here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what are we at? We are at pick 10. Let's go. We are right next to Saram Rummy Rams there at 11. Happy to see. We got Barber Shack out here at 8. Let me know if you were in this draft with us, and let me know where you're picking at, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know. Let me know. Captain Clutch is back in another one. Hell yes. Ad pick 1 this time, my man. Hopefully you can build the team better than ours. Malcolm in this draft with us at pick 2. Happy to see you. Saram out here with us at 11. If y'all don't know, Saram is a long-time member of the flock. Saram has been with us, for years and years and years. Evan asking how many rounds are underdog drafts. Underdog drafts are 18 rounds. Since it's best ball, you're not making moves during the year, and at the same time, your best automatic starting lineups being submitted for you at the end of every single week. The drafts are just going to be so freaking deep, right? Because you got to be drafting guys like Josh Downs if you're not going to be able to make waiver wire moves, right? Jay Swaggy picking right before us at 9. We got Jay out here at 12. Thank you, my friend. Vadim, a.k.a. Flux Kryptonite, got pick 10 in another room. Okay. Jefferson Chase out the gate here. Mr. Padilla, another long-time member of the flock, was at the original Flock Fantasy meetup, which you'd love to see. Okay, CMC off the board there, pick 3. Like I said, I used to take Tyreek and Kupp over Christian McCaffrey in these drafts. But now that both Ramondre Stevenson as well as Breece Hall are a little bit less appealing and we can't take him in round 3, now I am going to go CMC over Kupp and Tyreek. Okay. Ross Cred says 2 years from now, I met Bijan 2 years ago, interviewed him at the draft. Also 2 years from now, we're drafting on Underdog Fantasy. This is where 3 years ago I won $150,000. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Hopefully we can repeat it. We'll see. We'll see. Now we got Austin Eckler off the board here at pick 6. Bijan Robinson goes 7. So sadly, we are not able to get our guy in this draft, ladies and gentlemen. I know, my man. I'm just joking with you. I'm just joking. Diggs goes pick 8. All right. Jay picks on the clock. He goes Kelsey. So we're going to go ahead. We are going to take CeeDee Lamb. Yeah. I do have CeeDee Lamb over A.J. Brown. I have him ranked over A.J. Brown straight up in a vacuum, like even in your regular ESPN drafts. And also, I like going Lamb here over A.J. Brown because you have no shot at Jalen Hurts in round 3 if you're picking this late, right? So if I were to take A.J. Brown over CeeDee Lamb, it would be in the circumstance that I'm picking, say, the very beginning of round 1, and I'm trying to get a little bit unique, and I go like A.J. Brown, pick 3, see if we can get Jalen Hurts at the 2-3 turn. Yeah, I know we take a lot of Lamb, my friend. I know we are. Vinny says he took Bijan at 6 in our honor. My man, tell me you sniped us in our honor? What the hell is that? Come on. Now we're going to go ahead. We are going to take Saquon Barkley here. And with the Barkley pick, I mean, it's going to give us a little bit of a unique build, right? So what we're trying to accomplish, I know that seems like we go with a lot of CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley out the gate. But generally, love Barkley at this price tag. I mean, I'd rather have Saquon Barkley over Tony Pollard. I'd rather have Saquon Barkley over Nick Chubb. I mean, I think that Barkley could be the running back 1 overall in fantasy this next season. He checks a lot of the boxes we look for from a market share perspective. Also still very young, right? Only 26 years old, so we don't have to be worried about that either. So yeah, I mean, I really like CeeDee Lamb there, 10, Saquon Barkley at 15. And now Derrick Henry off the board, 18. Jaden asking, does it make sense to take Ridley over Olave? In my mind, hell no. I know some people have said that they are doing it, but like Chris Olave just demonstrated such a high floor ceiling combo last season that I'm all in on Olave. Like round 2 in underdog drafts is going to be a little bit more difficult. I know in your like regular ESPN redraft league, you can get them round 3, round 4. Okay. Okay. Olave goes 20. I have noticed Henry moving up these draft boards as of late. I mean, if you look at the underdog pick'ems, they do have Derrick Henry for the season-long pick'ems actually as the number 1 running back with rushing yards. So we're not going to be able to find that right now. I'll show you all that again. But they have Derrick Henry at 1,225 rushing yards, which is the most that they have for any RB. I mean, just think naturally, it's like a lot of people that were drafting back over the summer, right? I mean, they all hate Derrick Henry. They're the guys that make a brand out of hating Derrick Henry. I was personally drafting a lot of Derrick Henry at the beginning of the 3rd round, but now it's like the exact opposite. It's all the casual redraft players coming in that love Derrick Henry and are willing to take Derrick Henry in round 1. So you are seeing him move up these boards just a bit. Like I said previously, completely fine if you get Derrick Henry at the 2-3 turn, given the range of outcomes. But here, I'm going to have a hard time taking Derrick Henry at 18, at least on underdog. But It's Music says, in a 10-team PPR, 1 flex, double keeper league, I'm keeping Saquon and Amon-Ra St. Brown, drafting at 10 and 11. What positional combo would you look to target? I would love an elite level quarterback. Obviously, it's going to be hard to know exactly what's in the player pool with everybody keeping 2 options. But if we go like Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, or Josh Allen at the 1-2 turn, I think that'd make a lot of sense. And then I also probably would like to see a running back if we can find one that we like. Obviously, it's just very difficult without knowing who the keepers are going to be for everybody in the league. But I do want to give ourselves the ability to take wide receiver values in the middle rounds later on, such as say like Drake London. In that style format, I think you're most likely going to end up having to go ahead and take a running back there if you want to maintain that flexibility to be able to draft wide receiver values in the middle rounds. Okay. Jalen Hurts goes 27. Love that start from BP going CMC, Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts stacked up. That is beautiful. Okay. Metcalf goes 30. Let's swing this back around. So Gibbs actually falling a little bit compared to where we've seen him go in the other drafts today. Like we were saying, you're beginning to see Gibbs go significantly more like the beginning of the 3rd round, right? Yeah, that team goes Lamar, stealing who we generally look to target at big 34. And that team has 0 wide receivers too, which is the least intriguing to point out. Beast Mode says, does Devonta Smith have a higher upside than A.J. Brown? Oh, hell no. It's very difficult to say something like that before we see it, right? Amari Cooper goes 32. Jacobs, are you freaking kidding me? Every single player I wanted with Metcalf, Lamar, Amari, Jacobs all go right before us. We'll go ahead and we'll take Gibbs. To be honest with you, I'm not jumping up and down to joy to take Jahmyr Gibbs here at pick 34. Big reason why I'm doing it is just seeing the way that he's trending in these drafts. I think that it's going to be very difficult to continue to draft Jahmyr Gibbs at the 3-4 turn in 2 weeks from now. I don't even know if it's going to be an option for us. So might as well take him while we still can. Okay. Saram on the clock goes Jerry Jeudy 35. Oh, I didn't notice until now. Travis Etienne's officially jumped Najee Harris and ADP. Oh, no, never mind. Najee Harris is still right above him, but yeah, Travis Etienne has jumped Breece Hall at least and is about to jump Najee Harris. Unless people keep on taking Najee Harris like this team who took Najee at pick 28. Josh says, keeper league from the 5th spot, keeping Jefferson and Chubb for my 1st and 2nd. For my last keeper, should I keep Walker for a 10th or London for an 8th? Generally, whenever we're going to be looking at keepers, if it's going to be like a 10th and an 8th round pick in a 3-player keeper league, in reality, the difference between those selections is negligible. Like, you really should just be keeping the player that you care most about. And I would honestly rather have Kenneth Walker over Drake London this year. And that's not even considering the fact that he's going to be the cheaper guy as well. Now, we will take Keenan Allen. I mean, I do really prefer Jerry Jeudy. I really like Christian Watson as well. But, I mean, if we're looking at like DJ Moore versus Keenan Allen, it is what it is. And we want to stay balanced here through the first few rounds. That way we're able to take the values that we like later on. Taking Keenan at 39 also gives us the ability to go Justin Herbert at pick 58 if we really wanted to. Philly says, someone took Drew Brees in a puppy. W2. Well, tell them I said thank you for the $5 donation in the overall tournament. Thank you for tossing that $5 in the $200,000 first place prize when I'm going to win this tournament right here with this team, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now, Joe Mixon off the board at pick 43. Gwendo says, what's the furthest you've seen Breece Hall fall? Pick 52 for me in a puppy 3. Does that seem good? Oh, hell yeah. I definitely draft Breece Hall if he fell to the 5th round. I think the latest I've seen Breece Hall fall is to that 4 or 5 turn. I mean, I've taken Breece Hall a couple times, like pick 47, pick 46. Maybe if I wasn't in that draft, he would have fallen a little bit more, maybe to the beginning of the 5th round. But yeah, if I'm at the very end of the 4th, I'm not going to let Breece Hall make it past me. Specifically in these underdog tournaments, right? Where it's like a $5 buy-in, $200,000 first place prize, where we're just trying to optimize for weeks 15, 16, 17 for the fantasy football playoff tournament. If it's like a regular redraft format, honestly, I'd probably be a little bit lower on Breece Hall, just given the fact that like Dalvin is going to have a pretty large role to start the season. And I think if you're in like your regular redraft league, we're going to be making trades throughout the year. I mean, Breece Hall's value is probably going to go down at the beginning of the season. Okay. Now let's move this around. Hopkins goes 47. Very interesting to see that Hopkins really has not seen any realistic spike with the injury to Treylon Burks. I mean, I was operating under the assumption that with Burks getting injured, all of a sudden you were going to have DeAndre Hopkins just going significantly earlier than he was previously. But no, it's kind of crazy that Burks has fallen down a tremendous amount while Hopkins has remained about the same. Okay. Joe Burrow goes 48, pair up with T. Higgins. Yeah, the Chase team obviously didn't really care about Burrow because they took Mahomes there, pick 23, which is always the difficult part about drafting like Jamar Chase and Patrick Mahomes on the same team, is you pretty much put yourself in a position where you don't want to take Joe Burrow. Terry McLaurin off 49. Antler Eye says, my draft is tomorrow. A little help, please. Keep Madison in round 10 or Rachaad White in the 13th. Obviously, if you're going like 2024 value and beyond, a lot of people would say, oh, keep Rachaad White. Rachaad White's going to have more value. In reality, in keeper formats, I'm going to treat it more just like redraft. I'm just going to be saying, okay, who's going to score more points this next season? I would actually rather have Madison here, my friend. Ayuk off the board, pick 50. Not a big Ayuk guy, like completely fine seeing him go. Now, if he would have fallen to us at 58, would have been interesting that we could have taken Brandon Ayuk there, pick 58, and followed it up with George Kittle there at 63. Christian Kirk goes 51. Not taking a lot of Christian Kirk. But Quan says, how do I join? Okay, so if you want to join one of these drafts, my friend, you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK will get you 100% deposit match up to $200. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com as well, where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And also, with promo code FLOCK, make sure you are taking advantage of this ASAP. You're going to have the Anthony Richardson site-wide special, more than less than half a total yard for the game later today. And the Josh Allen exclusive Flock special for more than less than half a passing yard week 1 against the Jets. So please make sure you're taking advantage of that. Work my butt off to get it for y'all. And y'all are also going to get 3 exclusive Flock specials just this season. So make sure y'all are taking advantage, ladies and gentlemen. Landon says, how long does it take to get that free trial? Please check your email. Underdog Fantasy is going to email you everything. It may show up in your spam. Hopefully not. But check your email, and I've heard that maybe it takes like an hour. I don't think it should be too long, my friend. Where to go, Aaron Jones? I'm not the biggest Aaron Jones fanboy in the world, if I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of avoiding Aaron Jones at his current price point, right? But I mean, Aaron Jones has showed us a relatively high ceiling before. I've been wrong before as well. So we really don't want to just be super overexposed and completely fade Aaron Jones, just in case he is pretty good this next year. I mean, we can go ahead, we can take him 58, just mix it in. Essentially, just in case, what if we are wrong? I mean, it's an ADP 51, right? George Kittle goes 61. 20 says, it's elite how Mason creates FUD on players like Tony, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, then gets them at discounts. Yeah, here's the game plan, ladies and gentlemen. Get big on YouTube. Find a player that you really want. Say that you don't like him, and then draft him as much as you possibly can. Obviously, I'm joking about that. I think we're actually going to take Mike Evans here, mix it up a bit. I mean, I think you can maybe use the tiebreaker that Russell Gage going down for the year maybe moves Mike Evans ahead of Hollywood Brown for us. Obviously, Evans has been dominant every single season since 2014, but this will probably be the worst situation he has been in. Now, Poe coming out with the donation. Thank you, my friend. Says, hey, Mason, just wanted to throw you 10 because you've helped me a lot over the past 2 years. No, thank you so much, my man. And just so happy to see that you are back hanging out with us again in 2023. It is really nice because, I mean, obviously I make videos and live streams every single day year round. But I know a lot of people don't play Dynasty Fantasy Football, so they leave us for the offseason. And it's nice seeing those names such as Poe like come back and I'll be like, okay, yeah, hell yeah. We get him back for another year. Let's go. 49ers collection says, just got to it, pick 120 after the interception. Oh my gosh, my man. That is freaking hilarious. People fading him that much literally just due to an interception. Professor says, Evans played with McCown and Glennon. I don't think this will be the worst position he's been in. Yeah, I mean, obviously they get Winston 2015 with the #1 overall pick. I'd say, no. Are we sure that Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Josh McCown, though? Like, serious question. Can everybody please spam the chat? Who do you think is a better quarterback? Josh McCown or Baker Mayfield? Let me pull this up. Josh McCown stats. Because McCown had a super long career. I don't think Baker Mayfield makes it into his age 40 season in the NFL. Like, there's no way. Most people are saying Baker. I mean, looking at Josh McCown, career adjusted yards per pass attempt 6.1 is pretty damn bad, not going to lie. I don't know. I mean, obviously Baker would love to have the career Josh McCown had. That's not to say that Baker at his peak is not as good as Josh McCown was. I mean, is at his peak. But there's something to be said to be able to stick around and be that journeyman through the NFL. Kind of like Ryan Fitzmagic, right? I think Ben says it best. Peak Baker, floor McCown. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to put it. Pitts goes 76. I would have loved to have Kyle Pitts here at the 7-8 turn. Would have loved that. Okay. James Cook goes 77. Javonte Williams 78. I know who we want. Let's see if we get him. Okay. I think we're actually going to take Quentin Johnston. A couple of these running backs on the way back around are going to be about the same for us. We took Keenan Allen, so we've already made a bet on this Chargers offense. Can work out a couple different ways, right? Like, one, what happens if the Chargers are just better than people expect and both Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnston hit? Or maybe two, what happens if Mike Williams goes down and the targets just get funneled between these two wide receivers? So we'll take both guys and... yeah, we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Because the thing is, all these running backs are like, whatever, right? I'm fine getting any guy on the way back around. And the guy that we would want anyway, we end up getting pick 87 with James Conner. The issue with James Conner, very similar to the issue with Mike Evans, right? Great player, great workload, horrendous team, horrendous offense. Like right now, the Bucs are supposed to be the second worst team in the NFL this next season. And the Cardinals are supposed to be the worst team in the NFL this next year if you're going to be looking at what the Las Vegas win totals are telling us. So let's move this down. Wide receiver, we now have Lamb, Keenan, Mike Evans, Quentin Johnston. Running back, we have Barkley, Gibbs, Aaron Jones, James Conner. Now, generally, you don't love this start because we are in a position where we're most likely going to have to take both 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends, which is something I try to stray away from, right? Like, I'm completely fine taking 3 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends. Completely fine taking 2 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends. But don't like having 6 roster spots allocated to those 2 positions. GV2 says, McBride could get a lot of volume with Ertz being faded out. I mean, people were drafting Trey McBride where he was going based on the assumption that Zach Ertz was going to miss time this next year. And now that Zach Ertz is going to go week 1, like, it's hard to imagine that Trey McBride is a good pick with where he was going previously. At least in my mind. Now, Rashad White goes 93, Dalvin Cook off 94. Okay, I don't know if I've seen Rashad White fall this far. A lot of drafts I will go ahead and I will pair up say Rachaad White and Mike Evans, or Rachaad White, Chris Godwin, because if I already made a bet on one of those wide receivers, we kind of made a bet on the offense. But I mean, I do think that's a strong price point when it comes to Rachaad White. Okay, Tony goes 905. I'm sorry, 95, not 95. 905. Tua goes 97. It's so funny that someone said they got him 120 after the interception. So damn funny. Okay. Gibson goes 98. This point, I guess we actually can look at Dak, right? We can go Dak Prescott here. We can go Dak and potentially still be in a spot where we only have to take 2 quarterbacks. Rodgers goes pick 100. Surprising to see Rodgers that early. It's also a team that hasn't taken any Jets, but they're also just going and getting their guys, right? I mean, they took Najee Harris at pick 28. Manta says, Ertz is 32 years old, coming off an ACL tear. McBride is free in the 18th round. Not a bad pick, taking McBride as your third tight end. Yeah, I mean, just definitely a much better pick earlier in the offseason when it didn't look like Ertz was coming back. Like, Ertz being good to go week 1. It doesn't matter however you cut it. It's not good for Trey McBride. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 2 likes away from hitting 700 likes in this live stream. If you have not done so already, please go down there, drop a like on the stream, and help us out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Michael Thomas, 102. Brian Robinson, 103. Certified Cam coming out with the donation. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Crap. Richardson goes, my dream was getting both Anthony Richardson and Dak Prescott here at the 9-10 turn. If we were going to get both Dak and Richardson, I thought this was going to be a perfect team where we only had to grab 2 total quarterbacks. Now it's going to be a little bit more awkward. If we look at other quarterbacks that we can be taking, we could go Goff in a bit, pair him up with Jahmyr Gibbs. Could go Daniel Jones here, pair him up with Saquon Barkley. Actually, if we go Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, I think we can be done drafting 2 tight ends. So the reason, 2 quarterbacks. Y'all know I like the Pat Freiermuth price point, but the reason I'm not going to take Freiermuth is we're going to have to take 3 tight ends regardless on this team, even if Pat Freiermuth is going to be our tight end 1. So I actually much prefer Pat Freiermuth as a tight end 2 if we took Kittle, Goddard, Pitts earlier on. That way we can just stop after 2 tight ends. But yeah, Freiermuth goes. So I'm actually going to reach on Daniel Jones here. That way we have the roster construction that we want and where we're only having to take a total of 2 quarterbacks so we can take 3 tight ends later on. Daniel Jones has rushing upside, correlates with Saquon Barkley, as Saquon Barkley obviously is a pass catcher at the same time. And we could still find New York Giant wide receivers a little later on. Now, Certified Cam says, I'm in a super flex league with the 3rd pick. I have Barkley in the 3rd round. What do you guys think I should do in the 1st round or 2? I definitely think you want to stay flexible, right? If it's a super flex format, I want to put ourselves in the position where we can be going with a value later on. And that most likely is going to be at least taking 1 quarterback, right? I mean, if we can go ahead and if we can say take, I don't know, it's just hard without knowing the player pool. I doubt we're going to be able to go Mahomes. I doubt we're going to be able to go Jalen Hurts. I doubt we're going to be able to go Josh Allen. If we can at least get 1 quarterback through the first 2 rounds, I think that'll put you in a very comfortable position where in the later rounds, 4, 5, 6, 7, you're not having to go with an individual position. Instead, you can stay flexible and take the value with where it falls. Barber Shack says we were sniping him on Daniel Jones. I'm sorry, my man. I'm sorry. Professor says, Jones is great because the rushing upside, you don't have to worry about pairing him up. Exactly. And that's why we'll take Daniel Jones over Kirk Cousins, right? I mean, because Cousins, you kind of do have to worry about pairing him up with either Addison, Jefferson, or Hawkinson, but Daniel Jones kind of whatever. And Daniel Jones actually got me 16th place in Best Ball Mania last year for $10,000. That was the combination of Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins to be exact. Cousins got us through the first 2 weeks. Daniel Jones got us there the last week. Would have been much better if Justin Jefferson had a big week and we actually had a shot to be top 10 in Best Ball Mania. I don't think there's no way that we were number 1 in Best Ball Mania just with the way that things broke down, but we could have been top 10 if we had a better Jefferson week. Jefferson did like nothing in the championship last week. I mean, nothing's a little bit of an exaggeration, but he didn't do nearly enough. Now, Bam Cam out again. Thank you, says. In a puppy draft, quarterback, we have Tua, Rodgers, Stroud. Yeah, I'm fine having 3 quarterbacks if these are the 3 guys because you get Stroud at the very end, right? Barkley, JT, Hall, Javonte Gibson, Gus Edwards. Personally, I don't think you take Gus Edwards here, especially if you went 3 quarterbacks. I think you're going to be done after 5 running backs with Barkley, JT, Hall, Javonte Gibson. I don't think you need to pull the trigger on Gus Edwards. I would honestly probably rather, instead of having Edwards there, I would prefer a 3rd tight end. Like, instead of going Gus Edwards as our 6th running back, I would probably rather have like Trey McBride, Zach Ertz, or maybe if you wanted to pair up like Aaron Rodgers, go like Tyler Conklin, at tight end. I think that would have been a little bit more of an appealing spot just because you were already so damn strong at running back out the gate anyway that I don't really know if Gus Edwards is going to make a difference for you. McGindy says saying he did nothing is totally fair. Yeah. In terms of Best Ball GPP final, yeah, Jefferson did absolutely nothing. I mean, the thing is, Jefferson was so good the first 2 weeks of the fantasy football playoff tournament. It's not like I can sit here and cry saying, oh, he did nothing for us. We got screwed the last week. Because there were a lot of teams in that final week that had Justin Jefferson. So even if Jefferson was phenomenal week 17, it's not like all of a sudden that would have got us first place in Best Ball Mania and we would have won the $2 million. A lot of other teams had Jefferson, so a lot of other teams would have done much better as well. So I'd love to sit here and cry and try to make excuses saying, oh, trust me, I would have won it. It would have been me. But in reality, that's just not the case. Now, we definitely could have got top 10, right? We could have gone from 16 maybe to 8th, 16th to maybe 5th or something. But I mean, that's absolute best case scenario on that front. Now, Kirk Cousins goes 124. Let's swing this back around. Zay Jones goes 125. Once we go Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, if we really wanted to, we could take a 3rd quarterback. But if we were gonna, it would have to be in round, say, like 17, 18. We're not going to take a 3rd quarterback here. So we're pretty much just going to be looking at RB, wide receiver, tight end with these next 2 picks. Okay, Jared Goff goes 128. We're just going to take whoever falls between Jalen Warren and Darnell Mooney. Not a big deal either way. Mooney goes. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to take Jalen Warren here. I mean, Warren, the involvement is encouraging based off what we saw week 1 of the preseason versus Najee Harris. Obviously, he's just the clear handcuff. And once we go Warren, we're done drafting running back as well. We're just wide receiver, tight end through the rest of this draft. But we are going to be taking 3 tight ends, keep in mind. Professor says he keeps on reaching for Kyler. I actually really do like Kyler in best ball tournaments. Obviously, in your regular redraft league, Kyler Murray, not too appealing. But in best ball tournaments, I agree with you. My main reservation is just Las Vegas sportsbooks having the Arizona Cardinals at 4.5 wins. That is something that I am very much worried about. But Let's see what happens here. MVS goes, okay, we're going to get one of two guys that we're excited about. So, I mean, we're going to be fine regardless. We are going to go ahead. We will just take Michael Gallup here to get the double stack with Dak Prescott. Pair up CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Dak. I mean, Gallup definitely flashed early on in his NFL career and has been disappointing ever since. I actually drafted too much Michael Gallup last year. I'll be the first person to admit I most likely, yes, I can say I certainly made a mistake where we were drafting Michael Gallup last season. But it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be cheaper, while at the same time, he is going to be another year removed from the torn ACL. So, yeah, I mean, I'm in on Gallup. We're running it back. Hopefully, he does not burn us again. But let's go ahead and let's move this down. Elijah Mitchell goes 137. And ladies and gentlemen, I am actually probably going to have to end the live stream here. My girlfriend, I told her I'd be done by 4:30 because I'm supposed to pick her up somewhere. And she's been waiting for me for like 30 minutes. So it is what it is, though. But we will be live tomorrow. I'll be live the next day. I'll be live the day after that. So, of course, if you want to join one of these live streams with us, you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat description comment section. Best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the season. So it's the best place to get in some practice drafts for your main league this next year. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com, where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And please, everybody, remember to take advantage of the Anthony Richardson special that they have tonight. It's a free line out there for y'all, half a total yard. And also, make sure you are using promo code FLOCK when you sign up to Underdog, because I'm getting y'all exclusive FLOCK special pick'ems as well. Here you have Josh Allen for more than less than half a passing yard. So please make sure you're taking advantage of that. But I think that's all I have for you. Again, thank you so much for everything, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate you. And I really hope I get to see you with the live stream tomorrow night.